Hey, what's going on everyone? It's been about 4 years since I've made my video on replacing my headlight bulb on my 2006 325i. And here recently my passenger side bulb went out. And while I was in here replacing it, I came to realize that my headlight itself is in need of some restoration. It's kind of fogged up a little bit, and I went and did a little research to see what I can do to kind of improve that look a little bit. And went out to Amazon, and my package arrived here today. And we're going to use a Sylvania restoration kit. And here we go, this headlight restoration kit. Comes with everything that you need, and I'm going to give it a try from this sun-damaged headlight and see if we can get a nice clear result using the restoration kit. Now, there was a point in time in this car's history where it was parked outside a lot. I had a town home that had a single car garage that, of course, my wife used, and I therefore parked my car out in the parking lot of the community I lived in, and for several years it was exposed to the outside elements. So I think it's showing its age a little bit here, and we're going to see if we can breathe some life back into it. For information about this particular restoration kit, you can check the video description below. There is a link to the product, and you can read all about it there. So without further ado, let's start the project. Now, before we get started, I'm going to do my best to show the fogginess of the headlight bulb, or the headlight itself, as best I can. See if we can get some good before and after results here. This is the passenger side. And then over here on the driver's side, it's rather foggy as well. And we're going to see what we can do here. All right, first things first, let's go ahead and crack open this box and see what the contents are and what we're going to be working with here today. All right, let's go ahead and dump it out here. Oops. Okay. So of course we have some instructions, and we'll take a look at these and see what it is that we need to do. And I've got some sandpaper, different grit. Set that off to the side, as I assume that'll be something we do towards the end. We've got a cloth, we've got a clarifying compound, we have a couple of rubber gloves, and we have yet another cloth here. And then we have a couple of sprays, a surface activator, and a UV block clear coat. And it even goes as far to tell you what step in which you're going to use the product. So here, step 3, this would be step 1, and then the clarifying compound itself looks to be step 2. All right, so let's take a look at these instructions really quick, and we'll get to it. All right, one thing that's called out in the instructions here is a need for a spray bottle with some clean water in it here, and just some paper towels to, or other towels that are absorbent. And otherwise, everything else that you need is in the kit itself. You don't necessarily need a spray bottle if you don't have one. It says here you can just use a bucket of water if necessary, or even a hose will do. All right, in the first step, it says to make sure that your headlight lens is thoroughly cleaned. So I'm going to use these wipes here that are very convenient. And I'm going to wipe both sides down, give them a nice rub, make sure they're nice and clean before we apply our activator. All right, next up is to apply our surface activator. It says here in the instructions to apply it generously onto each headlight lens until they are completely covered. And then we're going to let that liquid sit for about 30 seconds and then wash it off completely with our spray bottle of water. It does caution to not use all of the surface activator, as it will be again needed in a later step. So we're going to begin by removing the cap and applying our spray. Now, if you so desire, you can tape off your paint with painter's tape. It does say that that is something that can be done, but that these particular compounds were designed not to damage paint, and I've opted not to do that. All right, it's been about 30 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and use my spray bottle here to get off the activator. Okay. Well, my spray bottle isn't quite working for some reason, so I'm just going to go ahead and dump the water on here. All right, now that we've washed off the activator, the next step here is to use our sandpaper. And what that does is that's going to remove all of the haze and oxidation in the failed UV coating. So we're going to start with the 400 grit, and we're going to take this sheet and fold it in half and use each half for one of the headlights. I'm simply just folding it in half, like so, and I will tear it right down the middle. All right, now per the instructions, we do want to have the headlight be wet in addition to the sandpaper. So we're just going to wet our sandpaper here. Going to wet down our headlight. Wish I had an actual spray bottle. And then we're going to sand in a circular motion until everything's all uniform. We'll periodically check the headlight itself. See that we have a nice smooth surface. I'm being very careful not to have the sandpaper rub up against my paint or my bumper. If it starts to get dry, just apply a little bit more water. Try to maintain a circular motion. The idea here is to continue to do this if you have a yellow haze on your headlight until that yellow haze has disappeared. Okay, feels pretty smooth. I have a couple of rough edges here, so I'm going to sand this a little bit more. We're going to rinse that off. There we go. Nice and smooth. Now we're going to go ahead and repeat this for the other headlight. And here we know that we've done a good job with the sandpaper because it should leave, as it appears here, a uniform and light white haziness with no yellow or clear spots. So we have a nice uniform haze look to the headlight lens itself. So with that, we're going to go ahead and continue on to the next step of sanding and polishing. For that, we're going to use our 1000 grit sandpaper, and we're going to sand all of the headlight lens surface multiple times, adding water as necessary. And we're going to do this for approximately 5 minutes. With our 1000 grit sandpaper, we're going to do just as we did before. We're going to fold this in half and use each half per headlight. Pressure-wise, we're going to apply a medium pressure. Okay, that's been 5 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and repeat this now for the other headlight. All right, now using the 2000 grit, it's time to repeat that same process again. 5 minutes each headlight. All right, we're moving on to step 2E, which is where we now apply our clarifying compound. We're going to use one of the two white cloths provided. We're going to open up our pouch here. We are going to use half of the contents for one headlight and then the other half for the other headlight. And we're going to use the same white towel for both. So to get started, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to apply about a quarter sized worth onto the white towel. I'm going to set the rest off to the side. And we do want to apply this to a wet headlight. So I'm going to go ahead and wet this down. And we are going to do this for 5 minutes. We're going to apply this with a medium to firm pressure, and we're going to go in some light circular motions. When this is finished, we will see a light white haze, and this is normal. Okay, we're going to go ahead and repeat this now for the other headlight. Okay, it's time to reapply our surface activator to both headlights, and we're going to let that sit for 30 seconds on each light. Once 30 seconds has surpassed, we're going to rinse the lights thoroughly with water. Using the other white towel that was provided in the kit, we're going to dry off both headlights thoroughly. Okay, now we want to ensure that the headlight is completely dry before moving on to the step where we will apply our UV block clear coat. This is where our vinyl glove and blue cloth are going to come into play. The blue cloth is folded over, and we're going to open the bottle and put about a ½ inch worth of liquid across the whole edge of the blue cloth. And then in a continuous motion from the top edge of the headlight, we're going to move from right to left in one smooth motion, reapply, and then repeat that gesture a level below our last application, and we're going to slightly overlap our last run. And we're going to do this throughout the whole surface of the headlight. All right, there you have it. When applying the UV block, you want to do your best to apply it very evenly. You do not want to go over the area that where you have applied it, if at all possible. If a spot was missed, then it's best to try and just reapply over that area as quick as possible. That's really all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. So we can already tell quite the difference in the before and after from when we first started watching this video to the clarity of the headlight. It's quite amazing. The lens itself was dimpled after years of catching rocks up on the highway. So the sandpaper took all of that out, and then using the kit we were able to restore our headlight as if we just bought it off of the showroom floor. So while you're in here replacing your headlight, should you have watched my video on that process, go ahead and get yourself one of these kits and restore your headlights, and it'll make your car look completely different. All right, so I love the way it turned out. It looks fantastic. I'm actually quite impressed with how well this restoration kit really worked out. So leave a comment in the video description below. And hey, while you're at it, subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Hit that like button. And check out some of my other videos for do-it-yourself projects on your BMW. I've got videos out there on replacing your bulb, should it have burned out on you. I've got one for replacing your air filter. That's a very simple and easy process to do. It'll save you a lot of money. Likewise with the cabin filter, same thing. Simple, very easy to do on your BMW. There's really not a whole lot to it, and you can save yourself quite a bit of money and hassle. Plus you get to take pride in doing the work yourself. Thanks again everyone for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you all have a great day.